This is my review on the R-rated classic Conan movie. The first one, titled Conan the Barbarian, where Schwarzenegger plays Conan. And yes, this movie does have tons of violence and gore, nudity, sex. With women. And also with the opposite side of the sex. And no, it's not transgender. That doesn't count. As opposite. What was I talking about again? I'm sorry, I'm a little high. Because I just smoked my marijuana medicine. And I feel wonderful. Yeah, I'm really seeing the positive benefits in this medication, and also the positive qualities in every movie and show that I've pretty much seen bad and good. Other ones I hated and liked. Still, this movie gets a 10 out of 10. Don't worry, this is kind of the old-fashioned cinema that makes you give up on questioning reason and logic. And just enjoy the fun, dumbass entertainment. High quality standards from Hollywood. Back when Hollywood didn't make as much shit. Also known as the good days of Hollywood now for some people. Because now this is the bad days, I guess. There's some crap, but you know, it's not all bad. It's I don't think it is so. So let's talk about the plot after I give this a 10 out of 10. Those who want to not go into spoiler territory and want to just know if I give it a 0 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, I give this a 10 out of 10. Conan the Barbarian is a 10 out of 10. You can stop if you want to if you want to stop the video now, because I'm going over in spoiler territories at this point. And talk about the plot of the film. 1 on 3. 2, 3. Now, I'm going to talk about the plot of the film. So, James Earl Jones, also known as the voice of Darth Vader, also known as the only reason why people remember Darth Vader, also knows the real Darth Vader. Even though the guy that played Darth Vader, the physical, was a white guy. But it was really the black guy that did the voice. So Darth Vader's always been played by two different people in a way. So this was another time he played the villain in a movie, the bad guy. He plays the leader of the tribe and comes to this village where Conan lives and his parents live in this village, and gets brutally slaughtered and decapitated all the people. And this one was like ready to fight. She turns down her weapon after the villain turns down his weapon and goes to walk away, and at least looks like he's going to let her live, but it was just a cop out just so he could get the upper hand and decapitate them in front of the kid's eyes. That will become the man Conan the Barbarian. And instead of killing the kid for some reason, he decides to like give him away to slavery instead, and doesn't think anything of it that bad would come of it. He does not think that through. Meanwhile, the rest of his childhood and part of his adulthood, he is turning this wheel of torture or something. And just turning the wheel and turning the wheel and turning the wheel for many nights and days, endless amounts of times. And every other kid is lined up turning the wheel with him, and they all die except for him. And for some reason, he's the only one still turning the wheel, and he's in a full-fledged adult, but everyone else gets either got sold or die or something, you know? So this guy on the horse comes to buy Conan to fight in an arena. Then he realizes that he's probably created a monster. And sets him free from his slave days for life, and sets him free. And tells him to run and go. Saying he's free now. And so he goes running and runs into a pack of wolves, and then runs into a cave, where he finds a new sword as a clearly perfect good weapon. And he takes it, and it turns an army of skeletons that are from the dead back to life from the dead to attack Conan to get the sword back that he stole from the skeleton corpse. And his army backing him up, and Conan whips their asses and kills them and runs out of the cave and into the wild and kills the wolves with the sword. And he takes it as a sign from his god Crom. The sword is a sign that he will get his vengeance for his father and his mother and his people from his everything is and so it's so that all that bullshit is he takes as a sign. And so he goes, runs into a new friend after boning this beautiful, beautiful woman that clearly has the hots for him, and giving him knowledge on where to find Crum's symbol. But really it's foreplay, but Conan's too stupid to catch on. Before they get it off in bed. So then she turns into some sort of mutated demon creature, mutant, and tries to kill Conan after turning into some sort of mutating into animals thing. Yeah, I'm not really sure what it was, but it's scary as fuck. We basically have this beautiful, attractive woman, naked, and, you know, looking good, having sex, and in a sex scene, and, you know, next thing you know, that's kind of just kills the whole boner deal. When she turns into a mutation and tries to kill Conan, turns into an animal. It's just kind of weird now. And just kind of, you know, just turns you off this when you were enjoying yourself from the nudity and the sex scenes with this beautiful girl, and And that was just weird and scary. It turned into. From hot and sexy to weird and scary. Anyway, he kills that bitch, sets the bitch to the fire. Because turns out, I guess she was some sort of witch. So, death by fire. I guess. And then he comes into a slave that's being, and frees the slave from the witch after killing the bitch in the fire. And throwing her in the fire within her house, and kills her, and stuff happens. Like, you know, a bunch of souls get freed loose, and after he kills her, it looks like a bunch of souls, I'm guessing she might have killed, I don't know, it's unexplained, but get free from her body after she gets lit on fire. It's not really explained, to be honest with you. But the acting's well acted, and the action and every directing is well shot, and that's what matters in the end. And it's very fun and enjoyable, engaging film. Even though it's great and tasteless at times. Many times. And God bless America for letting us see this movie and getting it made. Oh yeah, so he frees the slave that's been killed by a witch and becomes friends with the free now slave. And Conan and this guy now traveling together as thieves. And then they run into another thief who is a very, very gorgeous girl. Who's, as her incredible body showing, a good part of her body showing, and some clothing and armor mixed in to cover her nipples, I guess. But, in her ass cheeks, so... in a vagina too, I guess. But other than that, it's pretty revealing, you know. Her, and I don't have any complaints with that. I'm praising that, actually, for my country. Funny. So Conan rightfully lets her tag along and falls in love with this girl, obviously. Pretty much at first sight. Love at first sight it is. And then they go on a mission to steal from this guy that's James Earl Jones they run into again. Conan doesn't get the opportunity to kill the bastard, but he doesn't get the opportunity. Definitely doesn't do it, but he does kill his snake and save his friend from the giant snake, which is James Earl Jones' pet, I guess. Thing. And meanwhile, they're trying to steal valuable stuff from him. And they managed to get stuff, all three of them, and they managed to get the ass out of there and alive and unharmed. And they camp after making an escape. And, you know, Conan and the new girl that he falls for, they go to town and bone each other for a while. And then Conan does a dumbass thing and leaves the girl in bed just to get her flowers. What an idiot. I think she would have preferred to stay in bed instead of going to get flowers, you dumbass. But it's okay, it's Conan. He's under development in certain areas of his brain, I guess, when it comes to common sense. And then he gets sidetracked and screws the flowers and throws the flower away and tries to get his vengeance on James Earl Jones, but then gets crucified on the Tree of Life, it's called. But then gets saved by the girl and his other friend, because they find him crucified on the Tree of Life, bleeding out. So they meet up with the same guy that meet up with Conan, that's played by Mako, that used to play the Aku and Samurai Jack for the first 3 seasons before season 5, because he had to get replaced because of his passing, and also did the uncle in the Last Airbender show. And he plays this voodoo guy master who brings Conan back from the dead, basically, and basically, heals Conan's wounds after being on the Tree of Light and crucified and barely surviving. So he gets his wounds healed and gets his strength back, basically, and wounds are healed. After several spirits from the afterlife come from the sky and try to take Conan's soul, and also the girl and Conan's guy friend, his 2 friends, are trying to protect Conan's body, while Mako is, finishing the pray and ritual with these words while taking cover. And the others are trying to make sure they don't take his body to the afterlife, to the underworld. It's explained because if they take his body, and he won't be able to come back from the afterlife if they get hold of his soul. Briefly, it's explained by Mako before the ritual begins to heal Conan and bring him back. And it's all well and ends well. And so they camp and meet up and talk about not going after James Earl Jones and getting his vengeance right away. But first, let's do the job and steal from him and, can wait later. And blah, blah, blah. It's decided. Conan says nothing, just sharpening his soul's anger. And he's not really listening, he's just saying, nodding his head. It seems with his peers. And, so they go to steal from James Earl Jones again. And this time they steal the queen, his wife, of one of his many wives, I guess. Or does he just have one wife? I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. That's a little unclear for me. Because there's a whole bunch of women around him. And usually, I don't know, I think that's usually something that when you have more than one wife in movies, and it's kind of confusing. But anyway, but I guess that he only has one wife because they had never addressed that as any of the other ones as his wife. But this is slave girls, I guess, that will do anything for him. And he sees that actual power before crucifying Conan, and explains that that's actual power, getting people to do whatever you want. That's actual power, not steal, but manipulation. And he what it says sees how Conan basically has no other reasons to exist without him. And he tells us to think about on the tree of life while he's being crucified. Reflecting on his wisdom. Bullshit. So, they steal from the the queen from the king, which is James Earl Jones' character, and the love of his life gets assaulted by a venomous snake after James Earl Jones fires it into her shoulder, using it as an arrow. A poison arrow. I kid you not. He actually turns a snake into a bow and arrow and fires it somehow and poisons it once it hits her with the fangs, and she dies. Comes to the poison and can't save her or bring her back with the ritual because she's already dead. So Conan's now pissed. And so is his friend. The other thief guy. This guy, James Earl Jones, has a thing for snakes, and I kid you not, he has a snake fetish. Clearly. And which isn't as weird as you think, because saying his body can turn into a snake. I kid you not, there's a scene when his face is turning into a snake and morphing into a snake, and then the rest of his body turns into a snake. And all of his left is clothes that haven't turned into a snake skin or anything. You know, this is weird. Don't know why it happens. So, him and the other thief, his friend, team up to lure the henchmen into a trap and slaughter them easily. It's not easy, it's quite difficult, but they manage to succeed and come out on top. And then the king, James Earl Jones, fires up another bow and arrow, which is another poisonous snake to the love of his life that he needs to now kill because he cannot get her back and doesn't want to take the chance on trying. So he decides to put her out of misery, and Conan's friend saves the queen. And that following night, Conan walks up behind the man and takes his vengeance. And then gets ready to take his vengeance when the queen's supporting Conan's decision, because I guess she sees the other ways or something. Blah blah blah. Not really know, but she's now with Conan, letting James Earl Jones die, the king, and he tries to use the charm of wisdom to manipulate Conan. And seeing that he has nothing without him, and he has to ask himself, blah blah blah, who he will be once he gets his vengeance. So Conan just basically doesn't really listen to decapitates the fucker. It's hilarious. In front of his cult, and he just holds the head to his cult and just throws into the crowd down the stairs. After his body hits the ground down the stairs. And we all leave. Yeah, they don't fuck with Conan. And Conan sets fire to the kingdom and runs away into the sunset with the queen, and I guess they're now a thing. And it was this monologue that in time he became his legend of his own and a king of his own with his own kingdom. But that's one of those stories, and that will never get told in the sequel. because the sequel tells a complete unrelated story to that. But that's another video, okay? Subscribe to my channel. Like this video, thumbs up. Get notified for all of my videos. And if you want to see my other videos, just click on my picture and in my link, on my link. Yeah, so... You know, I'm also glad that I changed the aspect ratio on my television to normal, or is it neutral, what the name is, but it's so it's more, you can see more of the top and bottom and the sides too of pictures for all the aspect ratios. And I don't know why other people don't do that. You know, fix the aspect ratio for television. Probably because they don't know about it. I mean, once you actually fix the aspect ratio, you notice that a lot of the times aspect ratio is going to be a lot of times square on television aspect ratios with movies and shows. Not all the time, it's a lot of the time. It's also a lot of time you go see widescreen and aspect ratio, and it'll look pretty good, you know? So I guess, you know, yeah, it's there, so,